Hey guys, SahSimon here, and thanks for stopping by and checking out my channel. Today I'm talking about the soon-to-be-released Spider-Man game for PS4 from Insomniac, and I'm going to tell you this game looks awesome from all the previews. I wanted to get a start on covering information for the game because even though it's still 4 months out, information is starting to roll in, and I want to build up as much of a fan base as I can before that time. I'm a huge comic book fan in general, from Marvel to DC to Image and so on and so forth, and I did a little bit of coverage for Batman Arkham Knight right when I was starting up my YouTube channel. I couldn't get a big impact because of the other YouTubers out there who were already covering the game and very much well established in their own right, so I'm hoping to establish myself with these Spider-Man games this time around because, to be honest, this game looks like the next Batman Arkham series type franchise. If you're curious on the type of information I can bring to the table, check out my 10 things on Batman Arkham Knight to get an idea on how I do my Easter eggs and game coverage to give you a better idea. With that being said, I want to jump into the information about the game, so if you enjoy the video, do the button thing, subscribe, and leave a comment letting me know what you think about it. Hope you guys jump on my bandwagon, and here we go. So let's start out with the story to get us going. What we know from Game Informer and interviews, Peter was bitten by the spider when he was 15 years old, and the game picks up when he is 23, meaning he's been Spider-Man now for about 7 to 8 years and is pretty much well established in New York and very confident in his powers and abilities. Long story short, we are getting the Spider-Man we all know and love in the game from the comics. The full of himself, wisecracking science nerd, but compassionate hero we have read about for years. The city seems to be happy with him, and life is great for Spider-Man. Perfect time for a dance. But I'm gonna save you from that. Which leads us to the other half of that coin, Peter Parker, which sounds like we are also getting the classic Peter as well. The nerdy, unsure of himself, can't catch a break no matter what, Parker bad luck. This was always what Peter's life seemed to be in the comics. He was a great hero as Spider-Man, but that caused him to miss dates with girls, meetings with friends and family, homework, and not to mention all the lying he had to do on top of it. It seems the game will follow this dynamic as we get glimpses of this during previews of the game, with Peter being in his apartment and hearing some police scanners go off, but before he can run out to save people as Spider-Man, he gets an eviction notice under his door giving him pause. But of course he goes out after the police because he is a hero first and worries about his own personal life second or third or sometimes never. Again, this helps establish him as the everyman hero, looking out for the little guy but always giving all of himself so there is nothing left for him in the end. This entire concept gives me a lot of hope for the game because it seems that we are really nailing down who Spider-Man is in this game finally, and the world looks fantastic. I can't wait to see where the story takes place for Peter and Spider-Man on both of their quests. The game is supposed to open with Spider-Man taking down Kingpin and sending him to jail. We see this from some of the previews. It seems that prison won't stop Wilson Fisk though, as he is hiring people to go around and destroy evidence around the city so he can't become convicted of whatever it is he's being accused of. On top of that, Mr. Negative seems to be the center part of this overall story, either trying to take advantage of the power gap in New York now, or perhaps he is secretly working for someone behind the scenes. Short of a few cameos and other info tidbits, this is all we know about the storyline for the game. So our supporting cast. Aunt May. I doubt May is going to be doing any tuck and rolls or shooting an M16 at bad guys in the game. She is there as a supporting force for Peter. It shows from some footage type of a party being thrown in her honor by Peter and Mr. Lee, who is Mr. Negative's real identity. Second, we have Mary Jane Watson. Taking on a bit of a different role this time around, MJ is an investigative journalist at the Daily Bugle. She somehow got a job there and worked her way up from the bottom to get this position. What we know about her besides this new job is that Peter and her used to be on and off again, but at the start of the game they have been broken up and haven't spoken to each other for about 6 months. So to see where this relationship will go should be pretty whatever you want to call it. On top of that, it is said we will get to play as MJ in some type of co-op helping missions with Spider-Man. No word on what exactly this could be, but I would guess a hey MJ back is turned now, run over here, snap a cube, picks, blah blah blah, I'm Spider-Man, blah. Third up is Miles Morales, the kid who took over Spider-Man duties for Peter in the Ultimate Universe and was so well received they brought the kid over to the 616 as a permanent addition. Miles is 15 in the game and seems to be around to help Peter with Aunt May. He is infatuated with Spider-Man in the game. No word on if he will be getting his powers in the game, but chances are slim to none he won't, with that being, you know, the first Spider-Man game and all. I don't think they're going to shift too much focus from Peter in the franchise. Next we have J. Jonah Jameson, which we don't know a ton about him yet, other than the fact that he works at the Bugle and has his own radio show, so I'm sure we'll be getting a bunch of anti-Spider-Man rhetoric in the game about how he's bad for New York and a menace and so on and so forth. Hopefully some really good back and forth will go on between him and Spider-Man. Harry Osborn has been mentioned, but not a lot. We know that he's overseas and that he's good friends with Peter, and that he asked Peter to do some type of checking on labs at Oscorp or some type of side mission, but that's really all we know about him so far. Lastly, we have Norman Osborn. We know Norman is mayor of New York City, and he is running for re-election in the game. We don't know if he is the Green Goblin yet, and so far no hints have been given to the fact that he is. He does, however, have on a green coat in some of the images we have seen of him, so it could just be wishful foreshadowing. We have only been given a little information on the villains in the game. As I said, the game opens with Spider-Man taking down Kingpin, and it seems a few follow-up missions to stop people from destroying evidence in his legal case later on. Mr. Negative has already been shown, and it seems they are trying to make him seem like the main villain of the game, but it has been hinted at and said by some that he could not be that main guy. Outside of this, we have been told the Shocker will be a side mission in the game, chasing him down as he is robbing different banks. Also in a clip, it is revealed that Spider-Man has already fought and beat villains such as Electro, Rhino, the Vulture, and Scorpion. We can see this as newspaper clippings in Peter's apartment. No word yet on if any of these villains will be making an appearance in the game, but I'm sure one or two might pop up either working for Kingpin or trying to settle a score with Spider-Man. We also know that Taskmaster will be in the game, with a side mission that has you tracking down bombs he has planted and then webbing them up trying to contain the explosion. Lastly, we know that the first bit of DLC will focus on the Black Cat and doing something with or for her. And that's about all we have on the villains front. So this next bit is just some of the random information to know about the game. It takes place over a few weeks in October, so no one-day type deal like in the Arkham games. We also know there will be some type of night missions, but there is no time cycle to the game, meaning you don't swing around the city for 30 minutes and then it's nighttime. It's more mission and story based. This will also be similar with the weather effects. We know the world will be very interactive, with the people of New York wanting pictures with Spider-Man and even offering him high fives, along with a photo mode for snapping some cool pictures if you want. Also, it seems you can play on the basketball courts using your webs to throw the ball around and try to make baskets. New York is supposed to be very realistic, and you will gain XP for finding landmarks such as Grand Central Station and hopefully areas like Avengers Tower, Sanctum Sanctorum, and even the Wakanda Embassy, which is said to be in the game. No word on cameos from other heroes though. Along with this, you can also use the subway system for fast travel with cutscenes of Spider-Man on his cell phone. I'm sure you will also be able to visit Peter's apartment, as well as possibly change suits there and items. It said Spider-Man will have some gadgets in the game such as a spider drone, web tripwire, and a web bomb. These things will more than likely come in the form of a skill tree, which you will level up with the experience you gain. You're supposed to be able to level the tree how you like to fit your playstyle, and on top of this, Spider-Man has a detective mode with R3 similar to Batman's. Sorry I keep comparing this to the Arkham series, but it seems the best comparison at this point. There will also be things to look for in the city. Some side missions are collecting of trophies, but you will be able to find Peter's old webbed up backpacks around the city, which will give us audio logs or maybe even character bios on villains and friends. Similar to this, you can also find Black Cat statues, which might be something hinting to her DLC. On top of that, the real fun thing is going to be the random events that can happen during your time swinging around the game, such as stopping robberies in progress, gang fights, or car chases. Also, you will get to take down gangs in certain areas called faction wars. Some of these factions are said to belong to Kingpin, so possibly other factions for other villains as well in different sections of the city that you will need to clear out. One of the most important things I have yet to talk about are the suits. Which suits we get and are coming. From the gameplay, we can spot the classic red and blue spider suit, which are more than likely wearing at the early part of the game, probably when taking down Kingpin. This suit comes with some kind of bonus damage to the fists, which glow up as you fight people. The next suit is one everyone has seen and appears to be the main suit of the game. This is the one with the large white spider emblem on the chest and back. Also, it has the white covering over the arms and top of his hands. We know now this white covering is a carbon fiber armor to protect the more critical areas on his body, such as the heart, lungs, ribs, and hands, and all of the things Venom likes to eat, of course. The other suits that we know about are coming as pre-orders, or you'll more than likely be able to download them or unlock them through gameplay. First, we have the Spider-Punk suit, which comes with a guitar for Spidey to play. This allows him to play the instrument and do some kind of AoE shockwave takedown on his enemies. The next suit, which is awesome, is the Iron Spider suit from the upcoming Avengers Infinity War movie. This suit looks amazing, and with the new movie coming out in like a week, it's great they are adding it in the game for us to be able to use. So far, these are the only suits we know about, but there is still one more to be revealed in July that comes as a pre-order bonus, so keep your eyes out for that. Well guys, that is all the information I have on the news front. I sort of compiled it all from all the sources I could find to give you the best rundown I could. I hope you found it informative, even if I regurgitated a lot of the same information you have heard over and over again. If you like my video, check out my next video, which will be 10 suits that need to be in the game, and my video game speculation video, which will probably talk about what possible villains will be in it and how the gameplay might actually end up playing out in my opinion. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.